Hi and welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk about how to create a constructor function, actually two of them, for creating person objects, or really structure objects, but in this case the person class. So let's get started. I've already written a little bit of code here to demonstrate how we create an object, a structure, based on what we have so far. So I created a person object U, and then I assign a name to the name memory variable or field and an age to the age field. And every time I create a new object, I have to follow that same pattern. Now what we'd like to be able to do is be able to assign data to the structure object when we create it. And to do that, we need something called a constructor function. So let me show you how you do that. Constructor functions are placed inside the structure definition, and what they do is they're kind of like a void function, but they start with the name of the structure. And what I'm going to do this time is create what's called a default constructor. And a default constructor initializes the memory variables or the fields of the structure to their default values. So name is a string variable, so its default value is empty string, which is just two quotes put together. Age is an integer variable, so its default value is 0, which is the default value for all integers. So now I can create a object. Oops, that won't work. Hang on. Oops, caps lock. Having trouble typing right now. Alright, so let's run this code. And so you see that it's blank. Age 0, empty string for name, which is what we told it to do. So that works great if you just want to create an empty object. However, we don't want to do that. We probably want to put some data in there. So let's look at another type of constructor. This type of constructor will take 2 or however many parameters that you need and then assign those parameters to our fields like that. So in this case, person, this next constructor, is going to take a string parameter and an int parameter, n for name, a for age, and then assign n to name and a to age, and that will give us some data into our object. So let's look at how we do that. So notice how you call a constructor function. It's pretty much like a function. So you put the data in parentheses. So this is our argument list, and we have 2 arguments, Jane Doe and the age 23. So let's run the program. And there we go. Name Jane Doe, age 23. You can have multiple constructors, more than 2. I could have one more constructor that would set either a name or an age. So for example, let's say that a newborn, which doesn't have an age yet, we could write it like this. Alright, so now let's say that Jane Doe is a newborn. And we can call that constructor with just a single string, and it matches this constructor definition right here. So let's run the code. And there we go. We have Jane Doe, age 0. I can't have another one that sets just the age because the compiler is looking at the number of parameters in the parameter list to decide. And this is called function overloading, which you've learned about before, you should have. And so we can have a 0 parameter, 2 parameter, or 1 parameter, but we can't have more than one parameter constructor definition. So that wraps up this video on constructors, and thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.